Hello, my friends. There's some rumors going around that biochar doesn't work. People suggesting that it's their scientific opinion. Well, I'll tell you, in my opinion, for using it for the last 10 years, those people, maybe need to go back to school or something, or use some biochar in their garden and see the result. I think personally it's just people jumping on trends on YouTube or whatever. They see people's biochar videos do well, and so they have to, provide their 2 cents or whatever. But as for whether or not biochar works, I'm going to let you trust your own eyes. What we have here is a kiddie pool. I dumped in some charcoal that I made myself, high quality charcoal, long chains of purified crystallized carbon, right? It's just charcoal at that point. I charged it into biochar by adding compost tea, liquid compost tea, diluted in water. I added maybe, I don't know, maybe concentrate, 1 or 2 of the, well, I have them. Have it right here, actually. So I think 1 3/4 of these pop bottles mixed with water and poured over the charcoal, and then left uncovered to the rain. And it hasn't rained in 2 weeks, though it is morning, so there was dew. We get a misty dew here. I live in wetlands, so these plants do collect water from the dew. But here you can see a very thin layer of charcoal. It's what's left that I haven't already incorporated into my gardens. And we have taproot weeds growing in it. I got dandelions there, got some form of thistle or something growing there and flowering even. And they look quite healthy too. I don't know if I can zoom in a bit. As for comparison, I'll take the camera over and show you the dandelions growing in my pile of topsoil. But anyone who suggests that biochar doesn't work, I mean, if you're watching this right now, you can see with your own eyes, right? I don't water the pile of charcoal, besides when I first charged it up with compost tea. It's just left to the elements. I don't even add compost to it or any organic matter. Some dandelion seeds fell in there. I stopped digging at it and working it, so they've had a couple weeks to grow. And it hasn't even rained in 2 weeks, and it's 30 degrees Celsius each day. So, yeah, I would suggest anyone who claims biochar doesn't work, maybe take everything else that they say with a grain of salt. For comparison, here's a pile of topsoil. This is my native topsoil. I dug it up doing my excavations for my raised beds. About 4x4 pile at the base, and at the top, middle, maybe 3 feet high. It's a fair pile of dirt, right? It's got a good mass, good volume to it. Should retain some water or something. But even though it's morning and we just had the dewy mist, which you could see from the footage from the biochar, the nice greenery, everything was perky and standing up. This vegetation's all wilted over. And the thing I noticed the most is this is covered in powdery mildew and sickly looking. It's only a few feet away from my pile of biochar, and everything growing in the biochar is healthy. There's no sign of discoloration on the leaves or powdery mildews, funguses. There wasn't even bug bites taken out of anything in there. So I really don't know what to say to people who suggest biochar doesn't work. I mean, a pile of basically raw biochar. It's got no compost in it, no organic matter. It's got no soil in it. It's only been charged briefly with some compost tea and then left to the elements, is producing healthier vegetation on its own with nothing and no contact with the ground. It's in a container essentially with no drainage. It's retained moisture better than, you know, a mass of dirt 10 or more times its size. It's a considerably larger mass of dirt than the small mass of biochar over there. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This is covered in powdery mildew, sickly. This is my topsoil. So if you suggest biochar doesn't work, what would you have me do? Shovel in a bunch of compost each and every year just to have it used up by the soil, and in the end, you know, this is my soil. I don't know how much dust I can get. It just turns to dust. It's, you know, maybe you're right. Biochar doesn't work. So what should I use? You know, maybe someone could suggest, you know, of what I could use. But for the last 10 years, I've been incorporating biochar. It saved me so much effort on trying to use organics like manures and compost to try to get my soil where it's, you know, loose and well draining. It doesn't clump back together in the fall after shoveling excessive amounts of stuff into it and mixing it each spring. I mix my soil mix once. It's permanently mixed, whether it's for containers, for potting, for my raised beds, or for in-ground. I just planted a tree. I used this soil with biochar and a bit of compost, and that's a permanent planting. So trust me, trust your own eyes. Biochar works. Peace.